What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Fox Fantasy Insiders, brought to you by Gaming Generations. My name's Lucas.
And I'm Justin.
And we're your Fox Fantasy Insiders. We're going to be here all NFL season long, just talking fantasy football. You know, this episode, we're going to return to our roots a little bit.
Okay, tell me more.
And we're going to talk about sleepers.
Sleepers,
okay?
what are those?
So, players that are more in the bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
You know, not these studs starts like CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey,
right.
I can't say because he's injured. But, you know, some players that you kind of want to stash and players that we see that are eventually going to be on the rise during the season. But first, let's kind of talk about what our show is. We're two guys that talk about fantasy football.
We love it.
Each episode is different. You know, fantasy football is great because every week the storyline is different.
Yep.
You know, we're done with week 3. What do you think was the biggest storyline to take away? For me, I think it's Jayden Daniels. And that's not just because it, ended the week with, him on primetime just going bananas. But is he the next Lamar Jackson?
It's weird. I was watching the game yesterday with the buddy, and he said the same thing. He said, am I about to watch Lamar Jackson?
It looks like it.
And that's exactly what he looks like.
Breakout game on primetime.
Against Joey B.
At Joey B's crib?
Yeah, right.
My God.
He's looking good. I would say another takeaway, I'm obviously biased, is the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, that's your team.
That's my team.
That's your team.
3-0. I didn't know how we were going to be this year. You know, it's quarterback carousel. Sammy D comes in the new offense. We've beaten good teams.
Well, the defense, people, what do they used to call it? The purple
people eaters.
Yeah. You guys are returning?
And Brian Flores got our defense cracked. But I think the test will be against the Packers and their run.
In Lambeau. How do you feel about that?
I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to take the Vikings to win.
Well, yeah, it's your team, right?
It's my team.
Yeah.
But if we can stop Malik Willis and Emmanuel Wilson and Josh Jacobs on the run, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust Malik Willis throwing.
Well, Jordan Love might play.
He ain't going to play.
You don't think he's going to play?
No.
All right.
I do not, personally.
Yeah.
I would sit him for another
divisional
week.
rival. Yeah, I guess we'll see. We're recording this show on Tuesday, so if news came out that he's active, obviously we're late to the party on that. But I think either quarterback is going to be a good test for the Vikings. My Broncos won. That was cool. They got their first dub against the Buccaneers.
Which are a good team.
Yeah, a little surprise dub. Watched that with my family, and my dad and I were standing up, jumping around like we won the Super Bowl.
That's right.
No, it was good to see that win, and then I also went 5-0 in fantasy football this week. I was 0-5 last week, so I really just flipped the switch. Man, we're back at it.
Okay, good week on week 3.
We're back at it. But yeah, like I said at the top of the show, we're going to talk about sleeper picks. But before we do that, let's hear a word from our sponsor, Gaming Generations.
Check out Gaming Generations, where the gaming world comes to life. Embrace the gaming lifestyle with friends, new and old, and rediscover those classic games with their wide range of retro gaming options. From consoles to headsets and controllers, they have it all. You could trade in your games for cash or store credit and always get the best deals. Do you guys need a quick fix? Well, don't go picking up a used phone off the waivers this year. If your phone goes down this season, don't worry, Gaming Generation has got you covered. From phones, tablets, laptops, consoles, controllers, and more, their walk-in repairs will make sure that you are covered. At Gaming Generations, they always make it their priority to help their customers. Gaming Generations, where your gaming dreams come to life.
Thank you, Gaming Generations, for sponsoring the show. And for those of you who are looking for a quick fix, whether it be your phone, your tablet, your computer, laptop, PC, whatever it is, go over to Gaming Generations. Their techs will take care of you and fix it right.
They do cracked phone screens?
Cracked phone screens. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
All right. That's good to know, actually. Because I've dropped my phone many times in the last week, and I feel like it hasn't cracked yet.
Yep.
But I feel like, when you drop your phone and you turn it over and you're just hoping for not a cracked screen, I feel like it's eventually going to happen.
Yeah, they'll
And
fix it over there.
All right, that's my go-to place.
Yeah.
Gaming Generations, not just games.
Not just games.
I like that. I like that. Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about some sleeper picks. As I mentioned, these are players that we're not just plugging these guys into DraftKings for
Sure.
a value price like we've done in the past, but
We will give you them.
yeah, but say like for redraft or dynasty, these are players that we're kind of like, hey, check out these dudes. There's potential that they're going to be on the rise here in the
Kinda
coming
trending.
weeks.
They're trending
right?
up.
And a lot of times they're rookies. I mean, we could talk 3 hours about potential sleepers because he really can never be. I mean, we could say a guy and he can emerge in like week 10.
Right.
Braylon Allen, I mean, we've talked about him 2 weeks ago,
Yep.
and now his role is starting to expand. There's a bunch of guys out there, and a lot of them are rookies.
Yeah, and one of my favorite, Bucky Irving.
Okay, is that one of your sleeper picks that you want to talk about?
I didn't have it on here, but that just reminded me when he said Braylon Allen because I have Breece Hall and Braylon Allen as my handcuff. And Braylon Allen's on my bench with like 9 points, which is I'm happy with as a handcuff.
Yeah.
You know, but then Bucky Irving,
He looks good.
he's gonna
eat into the role, man.
I didn't watch that game, and Luke obviously did
Yeah.
because the Broncos played the Bucs.
He was a problem for us. I'm just
And
gonna say he was so jittery.
It was like 7 snaps. He did a lot of work on minimal carries.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Luke said, he's gonna eat into Rashad's time, which is scary because I have Rashad White.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when there's a committee backfield, but I feel like the Lions have proven that this can work with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs.
They play him so well.
Back in the day, it'd be like, oh, if the backup is getting more work, can you not even start the starting guy?
Right.
Committees are becoming more common in the NFL just to keep those starters fresh.
Yeah, right.
And honestly, it's kind of fun for fantasy.
Yeah.
You know, you get more people to plug in, and I mean, Bucky Irving as a flex, you know, like in a PPR league
Yeah.
is kind of a good play now.
Yep. Rashad White's totally not out of it.
Right.
Like, you know, we'll talk about him
Yeah.
in a little bit, but
Yeah, I mean, do you want to bring up some sleepers? And I mean, who's on your radar? I guess who's on the rise?
on the rise. Okay, I'll go into this one. He's a tight end. We all know how I love tight ends.
Yeah.
For the Jets, Tyler Conklin.
Oh, dude, he was getting a lot of targets on
Tyler
prime time.
Conklin. He caught 5 of 6 targets last week for 93 yards. And he's just looking to build onto the trust with Rodgers. You know, this week he faces the Broncos defense, who's
We're not good against tight ends.
correct, but your secondary is scary.
Right.
With that being said, the secondaries are going to be focused on Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard. And so Conklin is going to be Rodgers' safety blanket in the middle of the field. I'll put money on it. I have a feeling that this is the game where Conklin is going to be like what Travis Kelce is to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see this happening 100%. I think it's a bad week to start Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
If you have other options, I know you drafted him high in redraft, but for me, I have a pretty stacked dynasty league, and I have Garrett Wilson. I have the ability to bench that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not playing him against Patrick Surtain. That's like
Because
arguably the best
Patrick-
corner in the league,
yeah.
and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Bronco fan. Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show came out and said that he is a problem. So
Surtain follows the wide receiver one
the stud, yeah,
on either side. He just doesn't play one side of the field. He goes with them.
yeah. I like that. I like that play a lot, and I'm sure he's really cheap on DraftKings if you want to plug him in on there.
3,600.
Yeah.
3,600. You could plug him in for cheap and go spend money.
Dude, can I just say something about this week 3's tight end performance was absolutely like bad. Like Mark Andrews did bad, Travis Kelce did bad, Sam Laporta,
Hunter Henry.
he did bad.
Kazaki.
Yeah, so like all of these big name tight ends that are expensive on DraftKings, you're spending up and then they like deliver like 5 points.
Yeah.
Spent for a tight end, man. Throw some lose the bills at him
Yeah.
and just plug in someone. And I feel like this is really cheap enough, and he's in a pass-heavy offense.
Yeah, and Rodgers looks good.
Yeah, he does.
looking
Is
like-
he back?
He's old. The old Perk Rodgers is back,
Yeah,
baby.
it's fun. It's. I think the NFL is just more enjoyable when he's.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of my sleepers.
Yeah,
I got a couple more.
I like that.
Let's go into one of yours.
I don't have this guy on my list, but I just kind of want to bring him up because I want to talk about the wide receiver 1 for week 3. And that's
Oh God, I don't.
Juwan Jennings.
Nightmares.
Okay, so I feel like a lot of people are chasing this. He had like 40 points.
Yep.
I feel like if George Kittle and Debo are out again, you have the right to chase these points and plug them in everywhere.
Yep. No
I mean,
doubt.
how do you not? The guy had like 900 targets.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy like only
Threw to him.
threw to him. I mean, Ayuk had 10 targets, I believe. I know that because I had Ayuk playing in 2 leagues and wanted
like 5-6
some of
points.
those points. But Juwan Jennings, I mean, that's a good pickup, man.
Yeah.
Like,
if he's out there for sure.
yeah. But I really want to talk about a whole offense, to be exact.
Okay.
And that's the Andy Dalton and the Panthers.
Yeah.
Look at this, man. Resurrected the team.
He did.
And-
And they.
The Red Rifle is back, and he's taking charge,
Oh,
dude.
man.
This team looked really good against the Raiders.
Yeah, they did.
He was dicing up. Let me see here. He went 26 for 37 for 319 yards with 3 touchdowns. And guess
Wow.
what? No interceptions. I know it's just the Raiders, but the Raiders are an all right team.
Yeah.
They got a mean defense. I really think that I mean, the coach came out and said like he's our best option. Bryce Young, it's an unfortunate story.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. Like, what do you think here about
Okay.
just the Panthers' offense overall?
Just like I said last week, Bryce Young's broken, busted.
Yeah.
However, it could just be one of those situations where he needs to move teams, like Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, something like that. But with Chuba Hubbard facing the Bengals defense, it's a great matchup.
Coming off of 169 yards and a touchdown, he was RB4 on the week for week 3. If you started him, if you had the guts to do it, he delivered tremendously.
Started him.
That's probably an RB2.
You're right.
So, I mean, the Bengals defense is like average against the running back, so it's nothing like too scary. I know Brian Robinson
And Austin Eckler.
kind of ran all over them
They
on
both scored touchdowns.
Monday night. Yeah, exactly.
And in previous weeks, Isaiah Pacheco
Yep.
and Ramada Stevenson
Yep.
both went over for 100 yards.
Yeah, and kind of staying in that backfield. This is kind of like a stash play. Jonathan Brooks. He's eventually going to
Talk to me
return.
here.
He's eventually going to return, and I think he's worth a stash. If you're in a league that, you have an IR spot, pick him up, throw him on there. I mean, you don't know, and he's the first running back drafted in this draft class.
Right.
They see something in him, and I know he's coming off, I think it was an ACL, but he's not going to come in and just like take all the work.
No.
But he's a pass catching back.
Yeah, it's going to be a ramping phase.
And I think with Andy Dalton and this new offense, do you think, what if the Panthers did not bench Bryce Young?
I think they would have lost. I think they would have
Would have lost.
struggling.
I feel like they would have lost the locker room. Like there just would have been a bad atmosphere involved in the air. And now, like I think Andy Dalton just came in and just was like, "Let's do this as my team."
Yeah, he smoked them. Like
It's
over
pretty
300
sweet.
yards, 3 touchdowns. Like even the videos of the coach storming into the locker room, like the whole team was hyped up.
Yeah.
Like Bryce Young just doesn't have that playmaking IQ and decisions to do what Dalton just did.
Right. Exactly. And I'm going to bring up apparently his number 1 wide receiver is Deontay Johnson, which is so cool to see because 2 weeks ago you're like, I got to drop Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Like he's a great wide receiver. And now he just kind of exploded. He's $5,600 on DraftKings. It's a pretty reasonable price. I feel like you can play this guy.
I think so too.
I really do against the Bengals, whose defense just I feel like they can't figure it out right now. But just Dalton's presence improves Johnson's upside.
Yeah.
He recorded 8 catches for 14 targets. 14 targets is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And when you see 14 targets, that's a
wanna
lot of
play him.
opportunity.
Yeah.
You throw him in your lineup and
Especially-
you just hope for the best.
Especially if you're playing at PPR. Let's say he catches all four. That's 14 points for you.
Right.
Just off the targets alone.
Yeah. So, and I must say that Adam Thielen, I think he's questionable with a hammy.
Yep.
So he's probably not going to be in there.
I think they just put him on IR.
Really?
I believe so.
Wow, that sucks. But that's an opening for the rookie first rounder, Xavier Legette, you know?
I mean, he was even involved.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, not much, but
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to have an opportunity to step up and make some noise here, and I feel like that's a sneaky pickup as well, season long. I just think the Panthers overall, like that was my sleeper pick, was the Panthers offense. 2 weeks ago, we looked at this team and we're like,
lost.
yuck,
broken.
I don't want anything to do with this for fantasy football. And now it looks like one quarterback change, flip it around.
Whole new offense.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's not that crazy of a division either, so I mean they can compete. So it's kind of exciting. Who else you got on your list?
I got a couple more. I'm gonna roll with another total offense since Luke just did, and they're not really sleepers, but their situation that they're put in now, they just haven't been able to even keep a lead
Yeah.
in any time of their games, and that is the Miami Dolphins. Tua went out, and this team went downhill. However, they faced the Titans this week, and it seems like the Titans and Will Levis
Titans
are the team to just beat up on.
Yeah.
Levis leads the NFL with 8 turnovers so far this season. Hopefully making it possible for the Dolphins offense to have the opportunity to put up some points. And Skylar Thompson is now hurt.
So who is it now? It's
Tyler Huntley.
Are you sure? I think it was I thought it was some other old vet. But I think they're going to start making calls here soon. So
Yeah, and they should. And that was
question for you.
Yep.
So hypothetically, if I'm in a redraft league, I have Tyreek Hill. No matter what, you're starting Tyreek Hill.
I have Tyreek Hill.
Would you trade for Tyreek Hill if like the Tyreek Hill owner is like disgusted by the quarterback situation? I mean, would you send like kind of a not a low ball offer, but like
Yeah, I would have to go shoot for him.
I feel like he's kind of a Justin Jefferson type player that we're like you roll out no matter what.
Yeah, you have to. It's Tyreek
You have a
Hill.
chance to get 30 points.
Yeah.
That's just, and they'll, work with that. Jalen Waddle, on the other hand, I mean, I feel like that's almost benchable until you see something, but like,
Yeah.
he's still a good player. And then Achane, I love.
I mean, the only not guarantees, but the only
safe.
safe bet players are Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane in this offense, because you just don't know what you're going to get. But hopefully, with the addition of Tyler Huntley,
Yeah.
he can do something. You know what he did with the Ravens? He looked okay. He looked decent, better than Skylar Thompson for sure. So I think the Dolphins are going to finally get a victory here against the Titans. But that's just one of my overall offenses.
I just think you can, if you're interested in Tyreek Hill and you go to the Tyreek Hill manager and you're like, you kind of have the case where it's like, yo, man, Tua's hurt. I don't know if there's going to be that many better days for Tyreek Hill, and kind of like negotiate and kind of that's your case. You can maybe get him for a decent price.
Yeah.
I mean, this is actually an interesting question. Would you redraft? If you could redraft right now, and you were on the board, would you take Tyreek Hill or A.J. Brown, who's hurt right now?
I think I'd still go Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, he's healthy, even with the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
At least he's out there.
You're right.
I mean, A.J. Brown you can't play him right now.
That's exactly right. I mean,
So just let that sink in.
Yeah. When AJ's out there, he's getting targeted, but
Yeah.
not healthy.
It's good to bring that up, though, because I think a lot of people are kind of freaked out about the Dolphins' offense.
And I'm freaking out. I have Tyreek Hill in a redraft. Like,
Valid reason to freak out.
I took him 3rd overall. First week, I'm loving it. Tyreek Hill is back. Like, you know what I mean? He's here.
Yeah.
And then nowhere to be found.
Right.
It sucks.
Right. Who else we thinking here, sleeper wise?
Okay. How about Michael Wilson?
Ooh, for the
Arizona
Cardinals?
Cardinals.
Yeah.
The reasoning behind this is because he is playing behind Marvin Harrison Jr., who has seemed to finally step into that role that we talked about.
I must say, with Kyler and Marv, they're still having some connection issues.
Yeah, I mean,
So, I mean, I feel like Michael Wilson's kind of like almost has better chemistry with Kyler Murray.
yep.
Maybe Greg Dortch kind of too. Like, other people on that offense are going to get looks too, not
Sure.
just Marv.
No, absolutely. And I'm just saying, Marv is just, he's the wide receiver one there.
He's good.
No questions asked. So, the, what am I trying to say here? The opponent's top cornerbacks are going to be on him.
Yeah.
So last week, Michael Wilson caught 8 of 9 targets for 64 yards. It's not a lot of yards, but the targets are there. However, one of his plays that went for 30 yards got called back. And Trey McBride.
He's
has
hurt now,
concussion.
right? Yeah. Dude, he got lit up.
Yeah. So, and because of that, I expect Michael Wilson to have an expanded role this week. And if you're looking to plug him into DraftKings, the price is only $4,200.
Now that's a sleeper.
That, I mean, 9 targets last week. Trey McBride is out. $4,200. 9 target. I mean,
Yeah.
put him as your flex.
Yeah. I feel
Go
like
ball out.
just realizing who on the offense is injured and what next man is going to be up in the pecking order
Yep.
is important. So if you're out there on X, kind of pay attention to who's out. You know, I didn't know about Adam Thielen being on IR potentially, so like that's an example. Like
Yep.
Xavier Legette's just going to skyrocket. So yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, let me ask you about this one.
Let me hear it,
Justin Fields.
dude.
How you feeling? Up or down? Stock up or down?
It's up. They're 3-0.
Yep.
I don't exactly know his fantasy, performances. I think last week was like around 18 points, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. But dude is balling out. He's not. He wants the starting role. And be honest, I'm a Broncos fan.
Yep.
Russell Wilson, I'm just
Out.
out on him.
Yep.
I think that he will keep the starting role. Justin Fields.
I do too. I mean, it's
If they keep winning and it keeps working,
Yeah, it's his role to lose.
exactly.
You know.
If Russell Wilson's all of a sudden healthy, he's like, all right, guys, walks in with his sandwich. All right, guys,
Dangerous.
I'm ready to start, man. The whole locker room. I mean, Justin Fields just proved himself for 3 weeks. You're not gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Justin Fields' job.
Yeah, like when it comes to like overall like personality and like aura,
Yeah.
Justin Fields fits Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. Russell Wilson's a cheese ball, and everyone knows it.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's true.
yeah.
I mean, I bought into the let's ride because I was a Broncos fan. I'm just like, yeah, baby, tickets to the Super Bowl. Obviously, that didn't happen.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
yeah,
dangerous. and
he's just a-
Mr. Unlimited. I mean,
he's corn. He's
a
corn.
cornball.
He's can of corn. I think Justin Fields is a great streaming option,
Yeah, and like
and he's got rushing upside,
100%.
which is huge for fantasy.
Like when it comes to like the Steelers, Justin Fields doesn't have to be Superman, like that he was trying to be with the Bears. Like he doesn't
Right.
have to put everything on himself. He just needs to be consistent and not lose the games himself. Not make stupid mistakes and turnovers and fumbles and interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
He just has to be consistent with it. And the Bears defense, who are a top 3 defense, will take care of the rest.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, this week he faces the Colts, who Caleb Williams just threw for 363 yards and 2
Yeah.
touchdowns against last week. So I think Justin Fields is going to have a good game.
Yeah, I can see it. It's just interesting how that's a 3-0 team too. Like no one looked at the Steelers and we're like, they're gonna come out and be 3-0.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's crazy, man.
So we're going to go into something new that we haven't done yet. It's another rapid fire segment.
I like these.
It's a stardom, sit 'em for redraft leagues.
Okay, so pick start them or sit them.
Who are you gonna start? Who are you gonna sit?
All right. Well, we'll
I got
rattle off some names and talk about it.
Yep. I got 10 players for you, and we're just gonna talk you guys through it and what we're thinking. You know what you guys think.
Sure.
So we have Devin Singletary at the Cowboys.
Man. Okay, first of all, when we're talking about this, know your options. I'm not going off of that. I'm just going to be like, okay, would I start them or would I bench them?
Right.
I don't know, man. I mean, what do you think? Devin Singletary. That's actually that's a hard one.
I think you start him.
Yeah?
I mean, it's scary.
How did he do last week?
Balled out.
I forget about Devin Singletary.
He killed it last week.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. So you're confident in this?
I'm confident that the Cowboys defense is struggling right now.
Yeah.
However, it's at home.
Like in Dallas?
In Dallas.
Okay.
Which is a little scary, but
I mean, look at what teams have been doing in Dallas. They've
Yeah.
been eating them up. I mean, that's not a case, I guess,
you have
anymore.
different quarterback and running back combo by
Yeah.
far. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry
Yeah.
ran over the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that Daniel Jones and Devin Singletary are going to do what they did,
They're coming off a hot W.
but I could see it happening.
Yeah. Maybe
And-
they're going to focus all on neighbors
Yeah.
and they're going to, not stack the box as much.
My goal is start them.
Yeah.
Devin Singletary.
It's a scary start, but put some iron pants on and do this thing.
Yeah.
All right.
And like Luke said, know your other options. If you have other options like Saquon Barkley,
yeah, well, yeah, obviously.
yeah, when you
Or-
have no-brainers, do that. This
Yeah.
is just if you're on the fence.
Okay, Devin Singletary or Chuba Hubbard? Which one are you starting?
Chuba Hubbard.
Okay, and that's kind of like a close one, or like, yeah,
Bengals' run defense is a lot worse.
yeah,
And for the reasons we stated previously with Austin Eckler, Brian Robinson,
yeah.
Pacheco, and
Yep.
Ramondre Stevenson.
All right.
Rashad White, who is home against the Eagles.
Okay, I understand the scaredness of the emergence of Bucky Irving.
Yep.
I think you can half press the code red button on Rashad White.
Yeah.
I want to see like Bucky bleed more into the role first. Now I'm not panicking too much on Rashad White. I'm still starting him. I am. But if this week is like, wow, it's very touchdown dependent, and like Bucky Irving is becoming like a 60-40 type thing, like then that's a different story.
Like, I have Rashad White in one of my redrafts, but this is a redraft where you have 2 flex spots.
Yeah.
So I run David Montgomery and Rashad White
Yeah.
at the flex. I think I might sit him
Yeah.
this week.
I don't think it's a bad. Who does he play?
the Eagles,
Okay. See, that would be a valid bench.
which sucks because Rashad White at least was very involved in this offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next up, we're rolling Deontay Johnson against the Bengals.
I'm plugging him in. 14 targets last week. I'm plugging him in, and for the reasons that I said earlier in the show, I'm just Panthers offense right now. Deontay Johnson and Chuba Hubbard. I'm throwing those guys in my lineup.
Yep, I agree. Start him.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, home against Denver.
Like I said, against Pat Surtain, I'm going to bench Garrett Wilson if I have better options. If I have Deontay Johnson,
Yeah.
I think I would rather play Deontay Johnson. The opportunity is better.
Yep.
I mean, look at the stud wide receivers that Pat Surtain has gone up against. He's been holding these DK Metcalf,
Mike Evans.
and to 18 yards. He's been doing
It's
his
insane.
job. He's feeding his family.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
T. Higgins at the Panthers.
Interesting one because he played on Monday night last week, week 3. He had some end zone targets. He was getting looks. He just wasn't connecting. I think you can start him in like a flex, but I'm not like confident right now.
Okay, so going off of that, off of my Rachaad White 2 flex spot, would you bench Rachaad White and put T. Higgins in?
Yes, just because of it's not like Joe Burrow is ignoring T. Higgins.
No.
It's not like he got hurt or anything. He's getting end zone looks, and that I watched the game closely last night because I needed T. Higgins to not score 9 points, and he got quite a few end zone looks and one-hand grabs out of bounds. He was getting looks
Involved.
Yeah, so I think you can play T. Higgins.
Yeah, and the Panthers' defense isn't the best.
Right.
Anthony Richardson, home against the Steelers.
No.
Yeah, you said him.
Dude, and that hurts to say. Anthony Richardson is going to have games this season where he saves your fantasy team. He's going to have 30 points. He's just going to blow up. But he is also a very boom-bust player. And I love Anthony Richardson. The talent is magnificent.
Very.
But holy cow, he is just not all there yet.
No.
Skill-wise. They got to tune him up because he's throwing insane interceptions that I wouldn't even throw. I don't know, he's boneheaded mistakes. He's throwing it into three Bears players.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'm not starting him. I'm playing what was the quarterback we were talking about earlier?
Daniel Jones.
I'd play Daniel Jones. Sure, why not? I don't know actually
Andy
if I would
Dalton?
do that. Andy Dalton I'd start over Anthony Richardson.
Okay. And I'm saying a slash here because I don't know if Kenny Walker's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Walker or Zach Charbonnet against the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just Sharbs, playing Sharbs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been getting volume. I feel like volume in general is what I want in a running back. If Kenny Walker's back, I probably wouldn't play Sharbs.
Yep.
So, I mean.
Yeah, Zach Charbonnet, start him.
All right.
This is going to be a hard one just because of his first week 1 and week 2, and then week 3 he got shut down.
Mm-hmm.
J.K. Dobbins, who's at home against the Chiefs.
No Justin Herbert this week, likely.
And he has a bye next.
Yeah.
They're the following week.
What has Gus Edwards been doing in that offense? Not much. Dude, I'm trying to find better options. I mean, if Justin Herbert isn't playing, they're going to stack the box and expect this running game to just go off.
And the Chiefs defense is good. I hate to say it.
Yeah,
but
I'm
it
out.
is.
I'm sitting JK.
I'm sitting them.
I'm sorry.
I think this one's going to be easy. Hunter Henry at the 49ers.
Yeah, it's like that tight end situation where it's,
Yeah,
I don't know.
sit them.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do it.
Last
I play Tyler
one.
Conklin, though,
Yeah, Tyler Conklin, 100%.
for the Jets. Yeah,
Start him over Hunter Henry if those are your two options.
that's right.
Last one, Jalen Waddle.
Dude, I think you can bench him.
I'm benching him too.
And that seems insane to say that I'm benching Jalen Waddle. Find Deontay Johnson, Juwan Jennings. T. Higgins. You have better players. I know it's the name value of Jalen Waddle. He's good. He's fast. This offense needs to figure some stuff out.
It's just a quarterback.
Yeah, it's just the quarterback. I'm sitting him until I see that he can perform. It's been bad. It's been bad juju with Jalen Waddle. I'm sitting him.
I'm too.
Awesome. Well, there were some start-em sit-ems. Hopefully that kind of got the gauge going. Where we're at with some of these players. If you want to follow us on X, we're at FFinsiders2548. You can ask us questions over there, start-em, sit-ems. You can ask for just fantasy advice, or you can just trash talk us. That's part of the game.
Whatever you want to do, over-unders.
Yeah, we understand. So, awesome, guys. Well, there's another episode of Fox Fantasy Insiders brought to you by Gaming Generations. Another week in the books.
Yeah, on to week 5.
On to week 5. We'll see you guys next week for another episode.